And I have seen a lot of believers where they go through a life experience and it's like we don't have the answers and they just call it quits. And I believe Mary was at that place before she was getting ready to decide. And then she sees Jesus, and really what it wasn't that she was angry. She was just hurt. She was broken. And when she goes to Jesus, the brokenness, the hurt just all falls out. And she fell down at his feet saying to him, Lord, if you would have been here, my brother would not have died. Therefore, when Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who came with her weeping, he groaned in the spirit and was troubled. And he said, where have you laid him? And they said to him, Lord, come and see. And Jesus wept. And the Jews said, see how he loved him. And some of them said, could not this man that opened the eyes of the blind have kept this man from dying? I want to give you a spoiler alert. Jesus does bring Lazarus back from the dead. But I really want to pay attention to these last 5 verses, 32 through 37, because I don't know where this came from. I don't know where it started, but I think we have this expectation on who God is allowed to be in our life. And we've given God this title, and we said, hey, I need you to hold this. I need you to stay true to this. And when I come to you and I have a serious situation, I need you to answer my request. And the title says, the God of our answered prayers. God, I need you to answer my prayers when I want them. God, I need you to answer my prayers how I want them. And I need you to do it bigger than what I even asked. And if anything, what this story shows is that's not even the case. But one thing I do believe is that God is not necessarily the God of our answered prayers. Hear my heart. I believe he can answer your prayers. But if anything, what I believe this story shows is that he is the God that's in our waiting. That he really is Emmanuel, God with us. Look at the last 5 verses. Then when Mary came where Jesus was and saw him, she fell down at his feet, saying, Lord, if you would have just been here, my brother would not have died. Therefore, when Jesus saw her weeping, and the women that came with her weeping, he groaned in the spirit. I believe that he felt their pain. I believe that he felt their brokenness. I believe that he really felt what they were feeling. And the thing about pain is if you allow it to, it will be your prison. It will be that thing that causes you to never step out, to never speak out, to never be the authentically real version of you that God created you to be. Why? Because there's a hurt going on in here. And I can't really be me if I'm hurting. I can't really show you who I am if I'm hurting. The thing about pain is if you allow it to, it will be your prison. I remember a time when I was about 15. I was going to be a freshman in high school, and this situation happens to my family. And it started out as if, hey, this was going to be a good thing. And quickly, as the days and the weeks, as they passed by, it turned out to not be a good thing, and it actually became an issue. It became something that caused our family a lot of struggle. I've watched my family struggle with this to this day. And I remember I would pray, and I would pray, and the days would go on, and the weeks would go on, and the months would go on, and it seemed like God wouldn't answer me. And then the years go on, and then I get to a place where I try to remind God of who I am. Probably like 19 at this point. God, I've been to this many church services. God, I've listened to that worship song when nobody told me to. God, I read the verse of the day. God, I've done so much for you. But God, when I asked you to heal my dad, it seemed like you didn't even want to. See, back in 2011, my dad had back surgery, and I don't want to take too much time, but he had 2 rods placed in his back, and they were supposed to straighten out his spine. But what they actually did was fuse to his nerves, and he's been in pain ever since. And I've watched him struggle with little things. I've watched him struggle with big things. I've watched my family struggle. I've seen this issue really cause a lot of pain in my family. And I got to a place where I was just bitter. I got to a place where I was just angry. I got to a place where I just kind of died inside. But I was still coming to church. Hey, hi, how you doing? Oh, I'm blessed and highly flavored. How you doing today? You know, you can speak that church talk to kind of cover up what you're feeling. And what I've learned and what I've grown in is that even though that's my dad, no matter how much I love him or how much he loves me, no matter how big that bond is or how strong that bond is, even though that's my dad, he belonged to God first. And I have to believe, I have to choose to trust that God has a plan. Trey, I hear you, but it just doesn't seem, it honestly does not seem like Jesus is present in my life right now. And see, the thing about that is we have this expectation on what Jesus is allowed to look like in our life. We think he's gonna come down on a cloud from heaven and do all of this like magical stuff and just fix everything instantly. But the thing about the expectation on what he looks like is you might just miss him when he's right in front of your face. Sometimes, where's he at? Where's he at? Where is he at? I don't see him. Sometimes he looks like Pastor Johnny, willing to talk to you. I see you, yeah. Sometimes he looks like Pastor Johnny, willing to talk to you when you're going through something. Sometimes he looks like a brother that takes you in when you really, really need it and does it again so you get to go to the high school that you want. Sometimes he doesn't look like what you think he looks like, and that's when we miss it completely. And the thing about pain is if you allow it to, it will be your prison. Oh, but if you want it to, it can be your platform. It will be that thing that you can use, that God can use you to speak out to someone else that is going through the same thing as you. And maybe just one of you are going through something similar. And maybe you're actually meant to speak to thousands. And sometimes we get this platform thing confused that it's this stage, this microphone, in this environment. No, your platform can be at your work. Your platform can be when you're getting coffee. Your platform can be when you're getting gas. Your platform can be whatever you choose it to be. And the thing is, if I can use what happened to me as a platform to speak out against what the enemy is trying to do in your all's lives, I'm with it. Let's do it. Let's go. Because the thing is, this is our lives and we get to make it what we want it to be. And I don't know about you all, but I don't want to be someone that's trapped in a prison. I don't want to be someone that's kept in. I'm a big guy. I like to be spread out anyways. But the thing about pain is if you allow it to, it can be your platform. And I understand you may not want to do that thing. I understand you may not want to go to that place. And I understand that you may not want to talk to those people. And I want you to hear my heart because I love this. This is really cool. I'm super thankful and I'm super grateful for this opportunity. But it's not easy to get up on this stage and say, hey, yo, your miracle's coming when mine isn't even here yet. Hey, God is so good. God is worthy to be praised, but yet there's something in my life that has just not been fixed just yet. But even though I feel those feelings, even though I think those thoughts, I still have to choose in him. I still have to trust in him. I still have to believe in him.